Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox, where we cover all things Xbox, new and old. And on today's agenda is a review of Prey for the Xbox 360. Published by 2K Games and developed by 3D Realms, and was ported to the Xbox 360 from PC by Venom Games. Released in 2006, it's a very early 360 title coming out within its first year of life, and it actually was a highly successful game within its launch. Prey at the time was notorious for being in development hell, with a history dating all the way back to 1995, which is similar to 3D Realms' other game, Duke Nukem Forever, which still had not come out by this point. So, with Prey having so much of a history of cancellations and console versions, it was hard to say if it was going to live up to the years that it had taken to get to this point. And I think now it's easy to forget about this game, especially after Bethesda grabbed the rights and rebooted the franchise in 2017. But I think now, this game holds up for being some dumb first-person shooter fun. To start with, Prey is the story of Damasi Tawadi, or otherwise known as Tommy, a Native American of Cherokee heritage who hates the reservation and wishes to escape with his girlfriend. Unfortunately, aliens abduct humans and take them in for harvest. Tommy escapes and must traverse the ship to save his girlfriend and destroy the ship. Using the aliens' own weapons and his spiritual powers, he works his way through the ship. Prey has such a bizarre story, and what I love about it is the fact that it knows it's dumb and takes full advantage of it. It's full of lame dialogue and crazy exposition. It's really funny to watch, never taking itself quite seriously and being a wild adventure from start to finish. Prey really takes precedent when it comes to its gameplay and world design, consisting of 22 levels, with most of which taking place on this grotesque living spaceship, filled with organs and blood, and the ship literally births monsters. It's really a disgusting affair. Your weapons are literally ripped from aliens and feel like you're shooting gross organs at your enemies. It's a highly interesting design, unlike anything that I had seen yet from this era of gaming. I do think graphically nowadays, it has an odd look, almost like a plasticky 3D model look, but for its time, this looks solid, and I think the game's levels and environments sell the graphics. Added on to this element, this game throws so many insane level effects that actually made me feel a little nauseous. Taking gravity and portals and throwing them all over this game a year before Mario Galaxy and Portal would do it. These gravity sections throw you around, making you feel topsy-turvy. Portals will send you to areas, making you look at everything at a new perspective. Planets will have a force of gravity, and it'll ask you to swap between gravity forces from planet to planet. It felt very innovative for its time, and now it might feel just a little janky, but for the time, the way they implement it into the levels, it's really entertaining. The shooting in this game is extremely frantic, playing a lot like Doom, where hordes are being thrown at you, wave after wave, and when you throw in that they could be on the walls or the ceilings with the gravity effects, it adds for a fun twist on the shooter genre. Shooting feels solid and has a really cool selection of weapons that are odd, but familiar enough that you won't be lost with what the weapons do. And there is a lot of puzzles, surprisingly, here. None of which will break your mind or anything, but it does a good job of breaking up the gameplay, asking you to move things with gravity or open up switches in your spirit form. It makes what's a relatively short experience just a little bit more fun to make it feel full. At only around 6 to 7 hours, this game is a fast one, but I'm okay with that because it's a nice, concise experience that doesn't overstay its welcome. I will say the music is also very solid. Composer Jeremy Soule does the composition here, and it has a lot of grace to it, but still offers really nice fighting music. Licensed music also shows up surprisingly, and like famous stuff too. Songs like Cat Scratch Fever, Barracuda, You Got Another Thing Coming, and these songs play a lot in this game, popping up at some odd times, and even some of the multiplayer maps have these songs. Speaking of which, this game does offer a multiplayer mode with just basic deathmatch modes, but unfortunately it's dead nowadays. But from the little bit that I played by myself and looked at online, it seemed like a run-of-the-mill Unreal style multiplayer mode. Alright, and this game has achievements, so it is time for the achievement corner, and I was able to 100% this entire game. All of the single player achievements are story based, with only a select few weird ones in the mix that you get in the first chapter of the game. So it's a very easy game to get a lot of gamer score in because you're going to get most of it on your first playthrough. Now, you will have to beat the game twice, and you will have to do that on normal and hard. And hard mode is dead easy because what's weird about Prey is there's no dying in it. When you die, you go to like this ethereal realm and play a minigame, and you just go right back to the story. It makes for a very relaxed single player experience. Now, there is a ton of multiplayer achievements, and like I said, the multiplayer is dead, so if you want to 100% this game now, you will have to find a boosting partner. Luckily, this game is backwards compatible, so if you own it digitally like I did, I just hopped on a good friend's account on my Series X and had them playing on 2 TVs and grinded them out in one go. It takes a few matches, and you have to get 25 kills on every weapon, and it takes about, I'd say, under 2 hours, and that's all it really takes for a relatively easy 100%. And that's all of my thoughts on Prey. My final thoughts would have to be that it's a fun, frantic FPS that sold well, but is now forgotten the time, and I really think it shouldn't be because it's a super quick and easy first-person shooter game that if you're in the mood for one, this one's easy to pick up and play. I really enjoyed this one. It's goofy and a good time. And that's about it for today's episode of Camp Xbox. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have any recommendations or any memories with Prey, be sure to put them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.